Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. AB 2079 is about the quality of care that our seniors and our most vulnerable receive as they approach the end of their lives. AB 2079 will raise the minimum staffing hours of certified nursing assistants and licensed nurses in skilled nursing facilities and will require nursing homes to post the number of direct caregivers on duty at all times. Currently, skilled nursing facilities are required to provide a minimum of 3.2 nursing hours per patient day, which includes certified nursing assistants, licensed vocational nurses, and registered nurses. However, the standard has not been evaluated in over a decade. Providing person-centered care in skilled nursing facilities requires time, and when rushed, residents' quality of life and health suffer. AB 2079 aims to raise the quality care standards for our society's most vulnerable residents by modernizing the minimum number of required nursing hours per patient day in a skilled nursing facility from 3.2 hours to 4.1 hours, which is consistent with the federally recommended standard and explicitly requiring a minimum number of certified nursing assistant hours. I respectfully ask for an aye vote on this measure, and with me in support, I have Tiffany Witten with the SEIU State Council, Jesse Sutton, a certified nursing assistant and member of SEIU Local 2015, and Robert Sumner with the Attorney General's office.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Tiffany Whiten with SEIU California. I'm going to defer my time to Ms. Jesse, and I'm here to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. My name is Jessie Sutton, and I've been a certified nurse's assistant for over 30 years. Currently, I work in Placerville Pines. When I was 12 years old, my mother fainted, and I didn't know what else to do but call 911. When my godmother arrived with the paramedics, I knew I wanted to become a healthcare profession so that I can help other people. I enrolled in nursing school as soon as I graduated from high school and absolutely loved my career. I finished my training and received my certification and began working full-time after 1 day of shadowing in a skilled nursing facility. Now my job consists of providing quality care to some of the most vulnerable populations, those that cannot help themselves, seniors and the disabled. That may sound like an easy task. However, part of my job is it is my duty to make sure that the nursing home residents feel safe, taken care of, and most importantly, make them feel like they matter in their own home, away from home. We may be the only people they see that day. The current staffing ratios at many nursing homes do not give us the opportunity to perform our job and the standards we like to, and the standards that we are held by our residents. With the current superb staffing standards, we are unable to meet the basic needs and the residents. I work the overnight shift. There are days when they're carrying 18 for 24 residents, one CNA on the overnight shift. Some of our residents need special lifts called the Hoyer lift. Every time they need to be transferred, this is required with 2 CNAs along with the lift for residents to get up in the chair. Both and bathing and a gurney we use for a shower bed. Every 2 hours, each resident is required a visual check and reposition change their brief. We shower and dress residents. We check the vitals in the beginning of each shift. Working the overnight shift, there will be residents that want to be up at all hours of the night. They might have a cigarette, or they might be a caring person that just wants to hear them talk about their day and their adventures for the next day. Sometimes residents get frustrated when we can't be there right away. There are residents that might wander at night, and that's where our fall risk comes into play. When our residents expire, we have to prepare the body prior to the family to see them, and for the last time, and for the mortuary to pick them up. When our residents expire, we grieve, often a loss of a friend, and we hope we have allowed them to pass with dignity and respect. I'm passionate about my work, and I care for the well-being of our residents and my coworker. That's why I'm here today, because the current staffing standards at our facility do not allow us to provide the quality care our residents deserve, because we are usually stretched thin. It's time that California takes initiative and increase the staffing ratio so that the residents can receive the care they need and deserve, and so that the care providers like myself can safely and adequately do my job, the job I love to do. Caregivers count. The work we do matters. We deserve the staff and support safely to safely care for our residents, and our residents deserve our time and attention to provide the care that they need. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in support?
Yes, Robert Sumner on behalf of California Attorney General Kamala Harris. I'll be brief because I believe Ms. Sutton very poignantly made a case for what day-to-day ways of life are either improved or decreased based on the staffing that's provided at these facilities. But I'm going to speak a little bit to the tragic cases that can really result when understaffing can lead to negligence. The Department of Justice has the Bureau of Medi-Cal Fraud and Elder Abuse. It's a very special unit within DOJ that specifically prosecutes cases where elders have been neglected or injured, or in some cases in events of negligent homicide. What we've seen is actually cases where patients are left alone for so long that they are malnourished, they develop deep skin ulcers, they can be dehydrated, and at times they can even have infections that go untreated and unchecked because they've been left alone and there's been no treatment of these conditions. These have been actual cases that our prosecutors with BMFEA bring, and they actually approached me on this bill when they first identified it and said, you know, this is one of those cases where we would love less work to do and we would love that work to be less tragic. And I think what's particularly compelling both to the Attorney General and to myself on her behalf is the fact that this bill is being brought by the providers of care to those patients. That's not the way of life that they want for their patients, and that's not the standard of care that they want to bring for their patients. So really, when this bill is talking about providing more attention to patients, this is at times preventing negligent homicide or deep, serious conduct that rises to the level of criminality. So that's why this is a priority sport for the Attorney General, and I'm happy to be here today.
Thank you. Anyone else in support? Just name and position only.
Mr. Chair, members, Michael Young on behalf of the California Labor Federation, also here in strong support.
Shirley Todman, LVN, Bakersfield, California. I support this bill.
Cameron McNeese, Bakersfield, California. I support this bill.
Kenneth Rogers, Bakersfield, California. I support this bill.
Robert Taylor from Bakersfield, California, and I support this bill.
Breaking the monotony, my name is C.T. Weber. I'm with the California Alliance for Retired People, representing over 1 million people here, and we support the bill.
I'm Maria Viveros. I'm supporting AB 279.
I'm Hilda Negron. I'm supporting AB 2079.
I'm Joan Perea from SEIU, supporting AB 2079.
I'm Marife. I'm supporting 2079.
Arlisha Tillman in support of AB 2079.
I'm Agnes, supporting AB 2079.
I'm Robin Davidson from California, from SEIU, and I'm supporting AB 2079.
I'm Tom, SEIU. I'm supporting EB 2079.
Abby Reeve, I stand in support of AB 2079.
I'm Gloria Antonio. I'm supporting AB 2079.
My name's Tara Taylor from Santa Cruz, California, and I support AB 2079.
Marta Dosal, and I'm here to support AB 2079.
Angela Tate, and I'm here to support AB 2079.
Lemia Hamar, I'm here to support AB 2079.
Hayat Dabashi, member of SEIU Local 2015, and I support AB 2079. Thank you.
Nora Ben Sadaq, I'm CNA. I'm supporting AB 2079.
Roseanne Domingo from Tracy, California, in support.
Elsie McNeese, Bakersfield, California, in support.
Thank you. Any opposition? Afternoon. Please proceed.
Thank you. Jennifer Snyder on behalf of the California Association of Health Facilities.
We do share the goals of the author and the sponsor. We greatly appreciate as providers, as skilled nursing facility providers, our certified nursing assistants, and we understand that they are a valuable and extremely important member of our staff team. Because we share the goals, we have approached the sponsors and the author with what we believe is a better alternative to the bill, but I first want to talk to you about what we believe are the most large and overriding concerns with the bill. First is there are not only a minimum requirement of a raise and a minimum requirement to 4.1 for our skilled nursing facilities, but there's specific ratios within those minimums that overly emphasized CNA staffing versus RN and LVN staffing. And so what that does for a facility is it really pushes them towards staffing up on certified nursing assistants rather than staffing up where they would believe they would need also RN and LVN care. We believe that there needs to be a balance. We also believe that there needs to be patient care based on the patient need. And this bill eliminates a facility's flexibility to do that. There is a lot of talk about a federally recommended standard. And I just want to make sure that it's clear, at least from our position, that that was a study that was done back in 2001. It was commissioned by the CMS, but it was never adopted, and it's never been officially recommended by the federal government. So as of now, we have no official recommended position either by the state or the federal government, and we believe that there should be some type of study or oversight or some type of evaluation to see exactly what would be the best mix. And no matter what, we think facilities should have the flexibility to do that. Second, within the bill, it has a huge cost to our Medi-Cal program. Skilled nursing facilities are a partner with the state. They receive cost-based reimbursement for the services they provide because 2/3 of their patients are Medi-Cal patients. We have estimated that the cost to this bill could be upwards of $700 million just to the Medi-Cal program, let alone the additional costs that will go uncompensated to the facilities. So that is a huge cost to the state, and we believe that that should be part of the conversation when we talk about increased staffing and increased requirements for skilled nursing facilities. Thirdly, and I think most importantly, is that we are missing the concern about the workforce that's actually available to supply this need. California Association of Health Facilities estimates that we would need over 10,000 new CNAs to supply this requirement in this bill. They are not there. Training programs are not there. Right now we employ about 32,000 CNAs in skilled nursing facilities. We already have problems with retention and recruitment of those CNAs. What we did offer to the sponsors and to the author was, if we want to use valuable Medi-Cal dollars, let's look at ways we can actually enhance, support, find ways that we can better recruit and retain our CNAs. Is that better wages? Is it better ways that we can look at increasing their role within the skilled nursing facility? So we see that as a better means to an end, and also a way that we can actually make sure that we support the CNAs that we have and make them better and more happy members of our team. So we are opposing the bill in its current form, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else in opposition?
Chair and members, Jed Hampton, Leading Age California. We represent over 400 not-for-profit providers of senior affordable housing, assisted living, skilled nursing, and continuing retirement care throughout the state, and we would associate our comments and concerns with those with our colleagues at the California Association of Health Facilities.
Amber King with the Association of California Healthcare Districts. Also would associate our comments already made. I would also add that there are 4 standalone healthcare districts that operate standalone skilled nursing facilities in very small rural areas, and workforce is a huge challenge for those facilities. So I do want to make that point.
Thank you. Anyone else in opposition? I believe Senator Mitchell had a comment or a question.
Thank you. I guess it's really of the author. I was looking in the analysis because I know, here it is, with regard to the federal CMS report, because I heard opposition to say it was a study, it wasn't really required, CMS hasn't taken action on it. The analysis refers to the CMS report of December of 2001, that it released a congressionally mandated report. Are we talking about the same one? So if it's congressionally mandated, how do you not see that as something that the federal government is using as a guide in terms of expectations around ratios? To the opposition, I've changed midstream, if I may, Mr. Chair.
It was a congressionally mandated report. CMS commissioned the report. The report was published. CMS never adopted that report, nor did the federal government ever choose to officially recommend the standards, the minimum staffing standards within that report.
So they commissioned the report and shelved it? Is that what I'm hearing? So again, looking back at the committee analysis, the regulations that establish the current staffing ratios adopted but not in effect. So the current requirement for 3.2 nursing hours per patient day was enacted through a health budget trailer bill in 1999. And so that's how we established the ratio previously. This bill would change the ratio.
4.1.
And why didn't we do it through the budget process?
Good question.
Okay, then the author's like, I'm carrying the bill. I don't have the answer to that. Okay, all right, fair enough. One more, I hear you, I understand. One more quick question with regard to Department of Justice. Okay, Mr. Chair, give me a quick second. Okay, here. So the Department of Justice has weighed in with regard to the significant portion of the Bureau's caseload being consumed by investigating and prosecuting nursing facilities and their staff who fail to provide adequate care of patients. And so the DOJ states that increasing the number of direct care service hours will allow each patient to have more professional care. Would the opposition care to comment on that? Can you?
The Department of Justice is welcome to their opinion. I would say that we should not legislate. I mean, a facility is reviewed both by the state and federal government for a minimum requirement for staffing. They are reviewed by federal Medicare standards for providing patient care that's based on patient need. If they don't, they are held to many deficiencies, fines. And so we would feel, no, it's inexcusable that that happens. But we don't believe that a change in the minimum or the staffing ratios included in this will actually benefit or make it better.
Okay, so I was just, Mr. Chair, trying to get us at a sense of how we've come up with ratios in the past, what kind of rubric we use to measure what an appropriate ratio is, and it's apparently been different through health trailer bill, through studies. So that's why I was trying to get a sense of if there was any continuity or consistency in terms of how the legislature has addressed this issue of ratios in the past. So thank you.
Have you ever known to have consistency in the legislature?
And therein lies the problem.
Therein lies the problem, Senator Mitchell. I believe I'm sorry, I think Senator Nguyen, I don't know who was up first. We'll go Nguyen, we'll go Nielsen, and then we'll go Pan, and we'll forget Hall. I'm always picking on you. Senator Nguyen.
Assemblyman, my concern is the additional staffing, CNAs that would need to be hired for this. How are we going to handle this? I mean, it's very consistent with my argument of providers for the Medi-Cal program. We can add everything in to the bowl, but it's so full, we can't add anymore. And right now, if the comment is stated that we need 10,300 new CNAs, how are they going to meet that mandate if we don't even have 10,000? Are there 10,000 out there that will be graduating this coming year, or how would they meet this mandate?
So, and you could also check in the analysis, because the analysis does address this issue. The reality is that the reason why we need to work on the ratio per patient day, per patient, is because right now you have registered nurses that are taking care of patients that aren't able to provide the care that they need in order to make sure that things don't go wrong, or things don't happen that we don't want to happen within these facilities, just because one person can only handle so many clients at a time. So when it comes to the demand, which is what we've heard from the opposition, as it's also stated and work through the analysis, is that this field is actually expected to increase about 22% over the next couple years. And so while they may say there's an issue right now, as far as we're concerned in terms of people going into this profession, we're looking to see a stark rise in this increase. And again, this is a 3-year phase-in that doesn't start until 2018. And so we believe through, not only do we believe, but also the committee pointed out that there will be enough nurses to fill those positions when the time comes.
So by 2017, 2018, if we find out that we don't have enough, what will we do? I'm just, it's, for, I understand the reason, and I get it. I mean, we need to take care of the patient. They're the #1 priority, no doubt. And we also need individuals who's caring for the patient to be able to care for them, right? I mean, that's the reason why they're there. It's just that my concern, even though it's phasing out, what if? I mean, we had this same problem with the RN back then. And we were in it when we mandated all these issues. The state mandated all this issue with the RN, and then instead we had to start shipping people from out of the country to meet that mandate. You know, we were allowing international RNs to come in and have a lenient license and start becoming RNs in our state. And so that's where I'm concerned, is that, you know, if we're going to be mandating these, what is the flexibility to making sure that there's enough workforce for it? Because you're going to start, you know, shutting down skilled nursing facilities where they actually save us millions and hundreds of millions of dollars to have these individuals in there that needs the care versus, you know, in other facilities. So you know, there's a way in, you know, in terms of how we balance this.
Yeah, no, my only response would be is that in the legislature, we do this a lot. We set goals. You know, we're setting a new standard, it's a goal. And that, you know, it's up to us to make sure we rise to the occasion. So if we see as time's getting close that we don't have, or the numbers aren't going to make it, or we're not providing enough CNAs to go into these facilities, that we have to create some type of a program that's going to encourage people to go into becoming a CNA. Can create some type of a program that is going to help, you know, train individuals to meet this standard, to meet this new standard of care. And I mean, and we do this a lot of times in the legislature. And I understand your point. You know, I get what if. You know, it's always a good question. You know, what if the world ends tomorrow? I don't know. So I understand your point. I understand where you're coming from. But I think that, you know, we do this in the legislature. We set a goal. We've done it on a lot of different issues. And I think that, you know, it's the right goal to set given the constituency that we're looking out here for, and this bill is in no way, shape, or form to suggest in any way that these facilities are all bad actors and that that's not what we're trying to say. That's not the message we're trying to send. We're just saying that, yeah, people in these facilities aren't getting the type of care we need, and so there needs to be some type of intervention, and we feel by us, to make sure that we provide that care, and this is the best way that we see, at least as of now, until somebody gives us a better idea of providing that care.
I have a couple more. The other thing is, what I see is each of these facilities are very unique, depending on the district. My district, you know, we always do everything in 3 major languages: English, Spanish, and Vietnamese. These kind of ratio, especially for the Vietnamese facilities, you're never going to be able to find the workforce for it. There's not enough individuals who are bilingual in Vietnamese to be able to service these the population in my district. Are there any way we can work into something that can help facilities depending on the community, the areas, because there's only 500,000 Vietnamese Americans in the state of California. Half of them live in my district, but there's still not enough. I don't know how many are CNAs or who can speak Vietnamese, and I don't know what the population would be able to speak Spanish. I would assume a lot more. But that's another thing, is that each facilities are so unique that the workforce, not just those who can speak English, but those who can speak specific languages for that specific population. I just would like to make sure that if we go forward, that there's consideration that these facilities, I'd rather have these facilities available the way it is today than to start having them all shut down in my district, and all the Vietnamese American seniors out there or individuals who need the nursing homes are now not going to have any place to go. And then if they go to somewhere, culturally it's very different to what they're used to. The food, the language, the care, it will be very detrimental to those individuals who we're trying to help. It's the patient at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I'm always open to ideas of how we can always make it a better bill. You know, I think that takes input from all of us, and I appreciate, and I would appreciate and would welcome any suggestions as this bill moves forward, hopefully today, assuming it does, with any suggestions that you'd be willing to make, you know, to make it a better bill.
Senator Nielsen?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Assemblyman Calderon or any of your witnesses. First of all, this is just an observation, and you're not obliged, but the worst way the legislature can do things, policy particularly, is through trailer bills. And unfortunately, the legislature has become in the habit of doing that. It's awful, but that's not an issue here. Something happened years ago in a trailer bill, and we're still living with the problems in this case, but that happens everywhere. I am compelled by the need for flexibility. And it would seem like some kind of benchmark studies indicating what would be the proper ratios or hours, and not just hours unto themselves for CNAs, but what would those hours for a CNA be as related to hours for RNs? The flexibility of a given institution, I think, need to take into account, as the opposition has noted. In a given institution, maybe they need more RNs, and the ratio needs to be different within the institution. Would it be possible to consider and have some dialogue on amendments of ratios of hours rather than a set scaling up to a top of 4.1? Could there be some kind of flexibility built into your bill to accommodate those other areas of concern rather than just addressing the CNA?
I mean, you know, I'm willing to have that conversation, absolutely. You know, I think CNAs tend to be the most prevalent and the ones that spend the most amount of time with these patients. And so that's generally why we're focusing on them specifically. You know, of course, it is not our intention to rid a facility of their RNs or other types of doctors or caregivers that they need. But again, the CNAs tend to be the ones that are, you know, they almost become family with their patients. And so they spend so much time with them. You know, and because of that time and that investment with that patient, we need there to be more flexibility with them to give them more, because there's not enough for a facility, so we need more in that facility to break it up so that they're getting the proper amount of care. And that's what the goal is.
I'm certainly aware of what they do, and they do a wonderful job. One of my other major concerns is the rural areas. We've had a severe problem with RNs over decades. And I think that would certainly be similar for the CNAs in the rural areas. And how in the world are we going to be able to meet these staffing ratios? And I mean, that's an open question. But this is a specific question. What happens if a facility is unable to meet that? Are they going to be sued? Is that the remedy that will face them? Will they be sued? Or what will be the sanction if they do not meet that ratio?
My supporters might.
Currently in the bill, it doesn't speak to any circumstances if you do not reach the 4.1. I think our goal is to definitely make sure that we have the person-centered care for those in the facilities. We've definitely been willing to work with the opposition and all those in concerns to address that as the bill moves forward.
Could it be that there would not be a provision that precluded any unfair labor practice charges?
Again, we can look at all options as the bill moves forward, sir.
Well, I would suggest that that ought to be a consideration if you're going to have something. That kind of flexibility would give me comfort. And I do find it of interest to look at things that would allow some recruitment and retention prospectively. That's something we've really struggled with in terms of the RNs over the years, and it's been a huge problem. And I understand that the remuneration, the salaries have increased over the years, but somehow that hasn't sufficed enough to keep the enough people entering the market, I guess, if you will, for these services. So we do have to address that. Let me just say that that is a concern. And lastly, I'll say that we're talking about a fairly substantial draw on the Medi-Cal funding, and there are a lot of other concerns that we have not been able to meet in our budget, even this year. in terms of Medi-Cal funding. And so as a person that deals with the budget, I have to take that into account personally too. Is this where we need to put this much money in the Medi-Cal? I have to ask myself that question. Thank you, Assemblyman.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Senator Pan.
Thank you, Senator Calderon, for bringing this issue up. I appreciate what you're trying to do. I do have some questions I just want to clarify. So currently, our requirement for 3.2, is that, because I understand in this bill, actually what you're doing is it's not just 4.1, it's actually subdivided. So you actually have two. Is our current ratio of 3.2, is that also subdivided, or is that just simply a total that's set?
It's total rate. Yeah, it's a total.
Okay, so it's not only we're increasing the hours, which I actually heard from the opposition, they understand why you may want that, that you're also creating subcategories, and I think that was the flexibility issue, right? So, so I think, you know, one of the issues related to that, I mean, I think what you're trying to do is you're trying to increase overall care. Clearly, it's probably always going to be, you know, even from a cost basis, because I believe RNs generally are paid more than are more highly trained in terms of length of education than the CNAs. That probably the nursing home or the health facility, to the degree that they can, will probably try to use CNAs over RNs. But I think if there's some way to look at, because if you have a patient who needs more intensive management, you could have a situation where, for the patient's reason, you may want more RN time, and then you have a certain minimum on the CNA time, and does that still make sense or not? And even vice versa, depending, again, on the severity of the patient. So hopefully we can look at a little bit about, can there be a little, maybe more ranges or flexibility there? Because I think trying to anticipate what any particular patient, I understand these are actually averages over the facility, correct? It's not patient per patient. Is that correct? Okay, yeah. So, I mean, there's some within the facility, but again, depending on the overall case mix on the facility, if they have more intensive versus less intensive patients, maybe there's something that can be done there. I do also appreciate that this is a 22% increase in total hours. So we're going to have an increase in where we have more elderly, so that is going to require more workforce. Realize you're not going to try to tackle everything in this bill. I appreciate that. But I think we do need to look at the workforce issues. I think the concern would be is that if you have a community where, let's say rural community where it's hard to recruit, this could actually lead to either shrinkage in beds or lack of growth in beds despite an increase in population. And it's always a delicate balance because, you don't want to provide substandard care either, but are we going to create a crunch situation where people need beds, but just the beds don't exist? I did have a question for DOJ, because you mentioned some cases. As you were looking at those cases, as you were looking at that, were these facilities in which they were actually meeting the ratios, but not, so at least the 3.2, but I don't know what the ratios, but then were not providing the care because people were too busy, or was it they were actually under the ratio, and therefore, I mean, or is it that there was lack of supervision? I'm just trying. So you cited these issues, and that's very important. I appreciate the Attorney General's interest in this issue, but I just trying to figure out what are you seeing in terms of patterns behind what's in those cases that you were citing?
Right, in terms of the types of cases that BMFEA litigates, I mean, there really aren't too many patterns in the sense that there are a number of different scenarios that can lead to the types of neglect that would cause this harm. But one thing I can tell you that there's consistency of is that there are many cases in which that level of patient harm or sometimes staff harm occurs, and over the course of litigation, one of the defenses brought by the facility is, well, we were meeting the minimum staffing hours.
Okay, so then they were meeting the minimum staffing hours, but these events were still happening. Okay, all right. So, well, I think this is a bill that that needs to move forward. I hope you'll have continued discussions with the opposition about some of the issues in terms of being sure we balance those needs. We want to try to. I hear the testimony from the proponents. We need to try to raise some of the standards in terms of staffing and so forth. And hopefully we can land in the right spot. So I appreciate your work on this.
Thank you, Dr. Pan.
Senator Hall.
I
won't belabor the point. I think this bill has been well vetted at this point. Want to thank the author for carrying this piece of legislation. Did similar legislation last year for SEIU as well, and I think this is most noted and most needed. Wanted to clarify that I read the bill. There is no penalty associated with this. I know, Mr. Chair, one of the members of the committee asked if there was a penalty assessed if they did not comply to the staffing quota, but there is no penalty assessed in this bill, just for the record.
Any other comments or questions from any of the members? Is there a motion? Moved by Senator Wolk. So, Senator McKellar, I will be supporting the bill. Make a couple comments. I do agree that when you look at healthcare as a whole, anytime we have the appropriate number of providers, it always is in the best interest of the patient. The only comment I might make is the concern to fulfilling that workforce, because we have a dilemma not only in CNAs, but across the spectrum, from nurses to physicians to specialists, and we have a huge increase in population that's utilizing healthcare services. So I would hope that as the bill moves forward, and if you get a signature, not only do we meet this demand here, but that we can meet it throughout the entire healthcare spectrum. I did hear a lot of recommendations. I didn't hear any suggestions or mock-ups, so I'm assuming you're not going to do anything here, and it's not, I don't like to do legislation in committee, so I won't commit you to anything. But would you like to close?
Yeah, member.
Somebody already moved it. Well, if you would have been paying attention the first time.
You are on one today. You are on it today. Yes, you're fired. Well, I'm going to get out of here. You guys seem busy. Preoccupied. I just want to thank the members for their time and thank the members for their comments. I mean, I think I've shown a willingness to be able to work on this issue. We added the phase-in, which significantly reduced the price of this bill originally. We're going to continue to work with the opposition to the degree that we could find reasonable amendments that still make the bill work in the way that we intend it to work. But yeah, absolutely. Everything's always a work in progress, and I continue to look forward to that work and appreciate this committee's help, and I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. And we have item number 13, AB 2079, due pass to appropriations. Call the members.
Hernandez.
Aye.
Hernandez, aye. Nguyen. Hall. Aye. Hall, aye. Mitchell. Mitchell, aye. Monning. Aye. Monning, aye. Nielsen. Nielsen, no. Pan. Aye. Pan, aye. Roth. Wolk. Aye. Wolk, aye. 6-1.
Currently at 6. That's enough to get out. I think we're missing a member, so we'll put that bill on call. And we're at item number, I see Assemblymember Holden.